Broadcasting live from an Airstream somewhere in Tornado Alley, bringing you the people, places, and stories from the Panhandle to the Red River. This is your Only in Oklahoma show.
And welcome to the show. We had a chance to hear a remarkable story out of South Oklahoma City about a gearhead that does good deeds for those in need. Of course, we're talking about Hard Luck Automotive on Southwest 29th. I'm Brett.
And I am Harley.
You know, we're up just a couple of Southsiders. We both grew up on that side of town.
We did. I went to Capitol Hill High School.
And I went to the rival, U.S. Grant. That's our old stomps. You worked at Grider's Groceries. I licked the salt licks in Grider's Groceries. True story.
I got fired from Grider's
Did
Groceries.
You really? I didn't get hired by Grider's Groceries. I applied.
Did I ever tell you the story about how I got fired?
No.
Okay, it's ridiculous. So I was a bagger for maybe 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on time, like with bells on.
Yeah.
My first job, I was super stoked.
Right.
This little old man comes in and tells my manager that I threw his potatoes into the street.
Now, 29th Street or the street?
Okay, so you know how Grider's is set up.
Exactly.
So they had the pull-through lane, and you could pull right up to the front door, and we'd come out and load your vehicle up.
Right. It looked like an airport terminal most times.
Right.
Yeah.
So his claim was that I threw a 20-pound bag of potatoes into 29th Street.
Oh, my God.
From the car. And I'm standing there, and the guy's going off, and the boss is like, And basically I said, I defended myself because I'm a kid. I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know you just stand there and take it and smile and go, sorry, I defended myself, and I was like, that's not even physically possible. And the guy went off, my boss went off, and I didn't have a job.
Do you think the clap back by you got you fired, or you think they really bought you threw a 20-pound? Now,
No. It was definitely me arguing the point, but I didn't know any better.
Right.
Like, because I'd been on the job for 4 days. I wasn't even 16 yet.
Yeah. Again, to kind of paint a picture of Grider's Grocery, there are cars constantly lined up being loaded up. In 29th Street, I would venture to guess 29th Street is a good 100 yards from the entrance, maybe?
Yeah, probably 150.
Probably pretty close, yeah. So physically impossible. But yeah, South Side, grew up over there. A lot of really bad memories, but there's also some good ones in there too. I used to go into Grider's Grocery, and I would hide the magazines that I couldn't afford this week because I knew Tuesday was the new release day. So I'd go in and hide heavy metal magazines behind the Skateboarding International. Was that what it was called?
I don't remember.
At Thrasher magazines, and not Tiger Beat, though. I never hid the Tiger Beat magazines. But yeah, a lot of fond memories being in that general area growing up.
Yes. And I like the interview that we've got coming up.
Yeah. Just the nicest guy.
Nicest guy ever. I think we just get right back into the south side of Oklahoma City and roll into this interview.
Okay, before we go any further, where'd you get that shirt?
You mean this custom-designed OnlyinOKShow shirt?
Dude, the podcast is 17 seconds old.
The guys over at Master Threads printed them up for us.
Well, apparently not us. I don't have a Only in Oklahoma shirt.
Oh, did you not get yours?
Oh, and apparently a hat as well, embroidered? How is this even possible?
Brett, I'm just going to say that Master Threads is an Oklahoma-based company specializing in professional graphic design and embroidery.
And apparently lightning fast turnaround?
Absolutely. So they had made shirts for us in the past, back in the days when we were only internationally award-winning podcasters.
Mm-hmm.
They nailed that order too.
Well, apparently I'll have to call Jeff and the team at Master Threads myself to make it happen. But if you need local products from a local company you can trust, check out Master Threads at masterthreads.us.
That's masterthreads.us.
Master Threads. So chances are likely you've seen him on Mike Rowe's Returning the Favor on Facebook. He's been on every local news outlet. Hell, he's even been on the BBC in England. But more importantly, he's been turning what was once his duty to his country into a labor of love for his community by providing free auto repair to those in need. The only catch, you buy the parts, he'll fix it. Hell, he may even show you how to do it. He's the owner and founder of Hard Luck Automotive. It's Adam Ely. Adam, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. I feel welcome.
So you started in 2017. I mean, 2 years later, you've got well over 12,000 loyal followers. I'm sure hanging out with Mike Rowe didn't hurt. But what made you decide?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you kind of owe him your life, right? But what made you start this in the first place?
I was working full-time for Anheuser-Busch, and they had an incredible time off work rotation. They only worked us 3 on, 3 off. And on my 3 days off, I was super bored, man. I was piddling in the garage and mowing the yard that didn't need to be mowed. And I was sitting out in the front yard drinking beer one day, just kind of contemplating what I was going to do with my life for the next 3 days. And my middle daughter was dropped off. She was working at Domino's as a cook. The little delivery driver that dropped her off, her car was running like crap. I told her, I said, hey, let's do a little quick tune-up on your car. And she said, hey, I've already got the estimate done. It's going to be $400. I just don't have it. I took the estimate up to my local favorite auto parts store up to Napa. With my military discount, we were able to buy all the parts we needed for about $65.
Oh, wow.
And we fixed her car in the driveway. And that was kind of our, for lack of a less cliche term, that was our light bulb moment. Hey, here we can help folks. I've got all this time off. I'm a military trained helicopter mechanic. I'm an A&P, so I'm licensed through the government to work on any aircraft out there. Why not take the skill set that the taxpayers so lovingly afforded me and kind of give it back a little bit?
That's awesome.
So I made a Facebook post. I took a picture with the young lady, made a Facebook post. This was way before Hard Luck had a page or a email address or anything, and just said, hey, if you know anybody that needs help, send them my way. And that was early autumn. And by December, we started up our own Facebook so I could field questions and set up appointments and stuff like that. And for about a year, traveled around to everybody's home with tools out of the back of my truck. And in April of this year, Mike Rowe caught wind of us. A friend of mine nominated me for his show, Returning the Favor. And they came down and blessed us in April with shop, all expenses paid for 2 years.
So can you paint us a picture of what your operation looks like today?
I have a young man that works graciously for a hamburger every day. He volunteers his time every day with me. He goes to Votech to learn how to be a welder in the morning and then dedicates his afternoons to Hard Luck, goes to school online afterwards. Him and I open the gate about 10 o'clock every day. And 2 weeks ago, we helped about 60 people in a week. We average, 6 or 8 people a day normally coming through the gate that just need help. If it's really intrusive stuff, head gaskets or swapping engines or transmissions, I can't really do that. We're a pretty small operation, but, as far as bolt-on stuff, brakes, shocks, struts, pumps, alternators, all that kind of stuff, if you can afford the parts, we do the labor for free.
Now, kind of backing up to the Mike Rowe thing, you said that they're paying for the shop for a year. How do you keep the wheels greased outside of that?
If you go to hardluckauto.org, we have a products tab. And my wife, who's an amazing artist, went to school for graphic design, has designed us a t-shirt, hat, sweatshirt line. She does some tank tops for women and racerbacks and stuff like that. And we sell merch to try to offset the cost of the day-to-day stuff. Mike Rowe and his team were amazing in covering the cost of the shop and the utilities. And then we use the t-shirt sales for shop supplies, lunch every day, gas back and forth, stuff like that.
It's just I've never heard, you think of so many people that are struggling right now, and it's something minor. And, these major shops are going to charge you, 2, 3, 4 times what it would cost if you just had the parts, if you just knew how to do it. Now, you also do a thing, and maybe I'm wrong. If somebody comes in and says, hey, can I borrow your tools? Can they use a bay as well?
Absolutely. We've done that quite a few times. I initially wanted to open up Hard Luck a little closer to Tinker, the Air Force Base, so that these kids that are these young men and women who have stepped up and signed on the dotted line and become warriors for our nation, when they're stuck in the barracks and something goes wrong with their car, they've got a place to come that's chill, they've got pretty much the tools that they need to fix their car. They already have the skill set to do it. A lot of these young men and women in the Air Force are all technicians and have the skills to pay the bills, but they're thousands of miles from home with nobody that they can turn to for help. And that was kind of my initial kind of mission for Hard Luck was to just kind of be a hobby shop where these kids could come and kind of work on their own stuff with the tools that they need. With that, it's kind of snowballed into just helping everybody. So yeah, if you know how, we just had a guy a couple weeks ago change his own alternator. He just said, "Hey man, I don't have tools. I'm living in an apartment. I don't have a place to do it. My lease says that I can't work on my stuff in the parking lot. Can I just borrow a spot and a couple hours for tools?" And I absolutely 100%. Come on down.
Yeah, I think sometimes, I a lot of times in my life, I've had the tools but couldn't afford the parts, or I could afford the parts but didn't have the tools. And this is just I can't say enough about it. I know a lot of people have been in situations like that, and until I found you, it was like, I didn't know what do you tell them? Because
right, yeah, it sucks because there's, something as small as, I had a couple in here last week that their windshield wipers hadn't worked in 3 winters.
Wow.
And they spent $38 on a new blinker stock. It was just the switch inside the blinker that was bad. It took me 10 minutes to fix it. And this couple was describing to me the hundreds of dollars worth of Rain-X that they've spent in the last 3 years so they could see when they were out driving. And it was 15 minutes worth of work and a $35 part. And they had no idea, because people are so intimidated to go to a dealership or to go to one of these larger auto places, repair facilities, because just to be seen, you're going to spend between $99 and $150 just to have them diagnose your car in a situation where the part was $35.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, I think there's a lot of people that see this and go, there's a pride element involved to saying, hey, I know a lot of people that wouldn't be willing enough to say, I've been using Rain-X and I've been afraid to ask and da-da-da-da-da. So I just think, again, it's the perfect opportunity.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I think it's incredible, and this is, and not to sound too pompous, but this is something that started off as just helping a little girl out. And now here we are working on our 3rd year, and this has become a passion, like the happiness that people share with me on a daily basis when they leave here after something is so minuscule to fix, and they have heat back. Like it's blend door actuators. It's a $40 part, but it means the difference between you being warm or cold in your car. And I've had people, again, last week, a gentleman came in. He takes his elderly aunt back and forth to her doctor's appointments, and he had a 12-volt plug-in heater at her feet because she had such poor circulation. Her feet were always cold. It didn't matter what time of year. And people think, oh, having a heater, that's a matter of convenience, until you're elderly and you're trying to go to the doctor in December.
Right.
And that $40 part now means that this young man can take his aunt wherever she needs to go, and the heat works in his car again. And he didn't have to spend $150 to have it diagnosed, when all you have to do is Google what's going on and it tells you exactly the problem.
It's amazing. Do you have the ability or the need, if there are people who are interested in helping out on their day off, or somebody that's retired from doing this, do you have the ability to bring on more people on a volunteer basis?
I have right now a young man that's sitting at my left. His name's Cody. He, like I said, he's 16 years old. He goes to a Votech in the morning to learn how to be a welder. He wants to be a welder. And then he does Epic Charter School online. So he dedicates every single afternoon to coming up here and helping me out. And as far as employees go, I wish I had the means to pay this kid, but he works for a cheeseburger every day, usually that he's cooking on the grill.
That's a lot to be said about that generation of youth. It's just, I think hard work and work ethic and the hunger is lost on that generation.
Except for Cody.
Come
on, let's give it up to Cody. Come on.
Way to go, bud. I mean, you're doing work. You're doing time.
So
that's it, man.
Adam, have you talked to any vocational schools, the mechanics classes and that sort of stuff? Is that a resource that you've been involved with or had any outreach from?
Not necessarily. What I do have is outside of Cody, I have another 5 or 6 young men who are interested in learning and working on their own stuff. And it kind of goes back to that whole hobby shop aspect. These guys are 16, 17, 18 years old with their first cars, and they're up here with a hacksaw chopping exhaust off and trying to make their cars louder and faster. And over the summer, a young man named Ian Hartman was here every day. He did the same thing that Cody did over the summertime. Those guys are here every evening after school that they can be, and kind of that's the closest that I get to like a Votech atmosphere. As fast as things are moving, January we only had 700 people on the page, and then a couple of news stories that they did a print article in the BBC.
Oh, wow.
The British Broadcasting Corporation. Yeah, they did a print article on me. I won the Pay It Forward Award for News 4. I've been featured on News 9, I think like 6 times. And because of that kind of catapulted me into working with Mike Rowe and returning the favor. But since then, the page has tripled. That's...
Well, you look at it from a diners, drive-ins, and dive situation. Guy Fieri shows up, and they can barely get got a nice customer base. When he leaves, all of a sudden you can't get a hamburger. They run out. Are you running into kind of a similar situation now where you went from doing this much to doing so much more? That are you having to turn anybody away? What's the situation there?
I pride myself on the fact that I have never turned anybody away. The only time I will ever tell someone, I'm sorry, I can't fix your car, is if the repair is more than I can tackle. That's it. I've never done any sort of triage. I've never turned anybody away. I don't look at your car and say, listen, this is too nice. I'm not working on it. If you come through the gate and you need help, the only way that I can stay 100% true to what Hard Luck is about is by not asking questions other than what's wrong with your car and how can I help you?
Well, I love the concept. I love the name. And I read recently that the average car on the road today is 14 years old. So there got to be a lot of people out there who are running into these issues, and you're a rare find as far as I'm concerned.
Would you tell that to my wife? Because she's really sick of this shit already.
Just keep those t-shirts. Just keep those t-shirts coming. All right. So
yeah.
So we don't turn people away. What is an average week for you?
We've had days, Cody and I, at the end of October, we had a 60 client week. We helped 58 people in 1 week.
Wow.
And we do a lot of seasonal work. Summertime, a lot of people come in, they're like, hey, my window's broken. I can't get my window down. My car's burning up. And now this time of year, every 4th or 5th client is something wrong with their heat and air. It's a blend door, or it's a switch or something like that. We do a lot of brakes, shocks, struts, wheel bearings, CV axles, a lot of bolt-on parts. Like I said, water pump, thermostat, alternator, power steering, real kind of basic stuff. The thing is, when I was doing this out of the back of my truck, I never took on a task that was more than 4 hours. That was the only way that I could schedule people.
Right.
Because if it took longer than 4 hours, what you're doing is you're pushing every single person back to 80 or 100 people that were waiting for an appointment.
Right.
And when we moved to here, I tried to keep that same schedule. And the busier we got and the more popular we got, the further out I was booking people. And that really wasn't fair, because I'd have folks that canceled or couldn't afford the parts when their appointment came or what have you. And it was pushing people out. So we made the pretty tough decision, I think around the end of August, to just cancel every single appointment and work on first come, first serve. And since then, it's a rarity to not have people waiting at the gate.
Well, Adam, you're qualified to work on aircraft. Hopefully, when cars begin to fly, you're just going to be able to slide right in.
Oh yeah, it'll be an easy transition for me, man.
Those hovercrafts, man, they're in and out.
So, Adam, if we have a listener in our audience that say has Mike Rowe money and they want to throw it towards a good cause, what's the best way for this person to come forward and throw a few
cash, $20 bills, put them in a duffel bag like a straight baller, stop at the donut shop and pick us up a 12 thing of donuts and just bring it in an old ass Adidas duffel bag.
Okay, Adam, but what if oh no, go ahead, please finish.
In all seriousness, I've been saying it since we've had t-shirts. Zeros in the bank don't mean anything to me. I'm not, I wear overalls every day. I drive an older truck. it would be awesome to be a millionaire, but if I was a millionaire, I'd just be a millionaire in overalls with my same truck. I just have nicer tires on it. That's it.
Right.
I would rather run into someone that I've never met in my shirt.
Wow. I kind of got a little bit of a goosebump thing, but let me ask you this. What about a guy that doesn't have Mike Rowe money, has Brett Manzer money? How do I contact you if I need my vehicle fixed?
What you do is you jump on Facebook. And you just, we have our hours listed. We've got our addresses listed along with the business phone, which if I clear my voicemails right now, 6 hours from now, the voicemail box will be full again. The best way is to just come down.
Okay.
Just stop in and say hello. We're here every day from 10 to 5. Fridays, we like to close a little bit early. I still have two of my daughters at home. My son's a Marine, but I still have two of my 3 children at home. So my weekends are kind of mine. And I enjoy taking some time off on the weekends and partying with my family.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, 10 to 5 every other day of the week. Just pull in the gate. Say, hey, man, this is what's going on with my car. Can we fix it? I've got the same software that Napa's got as far as parts lookup, availability, and cost. The only difference is when you go to the Napa store, the young man behind the counter cannot give you the discount that Napa has afforded me. I have my own price point as far as Napa goes. They sent corporate folks down here, set me up with software on my computer, and are gladly sponsoring me and giving my Hard Luck people a discount. No money changes hands here. I send you up to my Napa store. You tell them Adam from Hard Luck sent you, and you get my discount.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, Adam, I want to personally thank you. Brett and I are both from the area that your shop is located in. And so we went to high school in that area. Yeah. We did a lot of our younger days kicking around that south side of Oklahoma City. And I'm more than thrilled to see you in that area doing this kind of work.
And I would definitely leave early on Friday nights, man. I'm just saying.
Oh, dude, I spent 39 months in combat. I just like to close the gate and listen.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty. 29th Street, man. That is the opera down there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely different than my little log cabin in the woods in Choctaw. That's for sure.
Man, I tell you.
Well, I want to get your contact information out here. So on Facebook, you're Hard Luck Auto 405 on Facebook.
That's
and
it.
Your website.
www.hardluckauto.org. Not only is there a link there on the website for merchandise, if you go to the About Us tab, there's a link there if you'd like to just pay. That's how we take donations as well, as through PayPal. We have a lot of incredible folks who have stepped up time and time again with $20, $50, $100 donations, and they just send it right through our website right there at hardluckauto.org.
That's awesome. Do you have like any sort of subscription program or anything like that where if somebody wanted to donate, a few bucks a month that we could set it up automatically, or is that outside of?
That is way beyond my skill set as a mechanic to set that up every month. So if you have any ideas on that, I'd love to hear them, how to set that up. But no, we don't have anybody that necessarily has any sort of recurring payment.
Okay.
I do have an older couple. They are heroic in their donations. And they're old school, man. They show up once a month with a dozen donuts and $100 bill.
And an Adidas bag full of unmarked bills. I like it.
I mean, you gotta, how do you not love the guy? I mean, depending on where you get your donuts from, I may judge you from where you get your donuts, but if a donut's a donut, right?
Right. Well, yeah, you're talking to a guy that weighs 340 pounds, man. I don't care where it comes from.
Well, Adam, we really, really appreciate you taking the time and, putting us on your calendar and coming on the show today. We really appreciate that and really appreciate what you're doing.
I am so thankful and humbled that you guys are taking the time to even speak with us and to get our name out there. My mom, she lives pretty close to where we live. And when she found out we might be getting a television show, I'm in talks with a producer who worked for the Discovery Channel for almost 20 years. And they want to take Hard Luck and turn it into a reality TV show.
That's
and
amazing.
When my mom heard that, it's incredible. When my mom heard that, she was very disappointed that she she thought we may be moving to the West Coast. And I told her, Oklahoma's home. We're not going anywhere. You know, the people that support Hard Luck and the people that made us what we are right here in Oklahoma. And Hard Luck will stay in Oklahoma for as long as I'm running it.
Well, if you do get your big break, Adam, don't forget a little bitty podcast that gave you that last push. Okay.
We're the reason. If you get the TV show, we're the reason. It was all us.
Now you're stretching it, dude.
You know, you're going to gain, you're going to gain 200 followers from this, and then you're going to look back and go, wow, I made it.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you guys push me over 13,000, I'll give a hat away in your honor.
Will you push us over 13,000, please? And I'll give you your hat back for 13K.
This is so cool, and I'm humbled by the fact that you guys wanted to have me on here, and whatever I can do to help you guys, please let me know.
How gracious can you be? How humble.
Dude, he's awesome. Like, I'm grateful just to have talked to the guy.
Well, I mean, not to mention, you know, he mentioned a couple of times how grateful he was to be on the show, and thank you to us for feeling willing to talk to him. And he's been around, man. Like, he's been in a lot of major markets.
No, and I get that, but
Yeah.
I'm super impressed with Adam's
The attitude,
his humbleness,
the ethic, putting the kids to work.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm super impressed all the way around. I don't have enough words to express how awesome I think this guy is.
I feel like I need to go through and buy all of his shirts. He's got some really cool shirts, folks. If you haven't checked out their merch yet by now, some really cool shirts.
Absolutely. But we've included links in the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
But go to his website, hardluckautomotive.org.
Yes, and then his Facebook page is Hard Luck Auto 405. So
right, but go to his website, check out the gear they've got available. It's going to a great cause. Like I said, I can't recommend that you do this enough.
Right, just I really I don't think we go any farther.
I don't think so either.
I think we got to plug ourselves though.
Is it that time in the show?
It is that time in the show.
So guys, if you like what we're bringing you, please share the show. Tell a friend. Tell your mom. It's OnlyinOKShow on all of the social media.
And also, if you know of a story that's like this out there, let us know. We'd love to talk about it on the Only in OK Show. I'm Brett.
And I'm Harley. And we're out.
Peace.
Yeah, Brett is in charge of pushing the record button, and he hadn't done it yet. So when I pointed at the instrument that requires recording, he got very confused and vapor locked on us.
Well,
Vapor lock.
Like a scalded dog trying to hit record. Well, chances are likely you've seen him on. See, I told you. All right, 3, 2, 1. Well, chances are likely you've seen him on Mike. Why can't I talk today?
He just does this so we have stuff for the outtakes at the end of the show, I swear.
Jesus Christ almighty. I promise I'm a professional. Let me take a drink of water.